This week on the Rockman Power Hour, we're joined by someone that literally won the heavy metal lottery early on in his career by joining his favorite band. So much so that he used to sing in a cover band that was devoted to said band. Take a wild guess who's on our show this week. Yep. Tim Ripper Owens is joining us this week on the Rockman Power Hour. Welcome back to the Rockman Power Hour, a podcast where we talk to the most interesting people in the world of pop culture. And just right off the bat, let's encourage you, if you are not already, to be subscribed to our podcast. Hit that alert button and you will be alerted every time we drop something new here on YouTube or on our audio portion of the podcast. And we really appreciate all of you for joining us on this journey. Ryan Stick, my co-host, is with me. Ryan, listen, man, when I told you that we had Tim Ripper Owens that was going to be joining us on the podcast, you lost your shit. You were so excited.
I was, and shit was lost, but it was found in the middle of this interview where I realized who I was talking to and the situation.
Yeah.
Because I love the movie Rockstar so much, and everybody listening right now, they're like, oh, do you mention Rockstar? Fuck, yes, we do. Oh my goodness, yes, we do. And it was a dream come true to be able to talk about his perspective of how that movie started out as his life story and where it went. Talking about his episode of Bar Rescue, which we saw a bunch of episodes in when we were seeing Alice Cooper and Rob Zombie a few weeks ago. And Bar Rescue was on. I'm like, yeah, this is a show he was on.
I know.
After a while, you're just like, fuck it. It's just people yelling because when you're not paying attention, I'm like, I know, but I like a good makeover and fixer upper. I find myself a fixer upper. My current look right now, besides this awesome sweater from Stereos Designs, which we'll talk about a little later. Yeah. So my friend Christina, she posted this thing yesterday on Facebook where it's just like, there's a deafener in my building look.
Okay.
And I'm like, that makes so much fucking sense. Where if there's a dep in your building, how little you will put in your hair and everything else when you just need to go get something in a building that you live in. So I see myself, I've been in there's a depener in my building look for
years,
7 years. And there is no dep in my building and I have to walk to it. And right now it is currently a walk of shame because I leave the house being like, I'm just going to go to the store. And 8 odd minutes later, I'm like saying, maybe I should have rethought about how I do my hair because everyone thinks I'm on drugs. And frankly, by the looks of me sometimes, I don't blame them.
Well, listen, we all have that thing where we hope no one's seeing what we're doing.
Yeah.
And that depener in my building thing that's so spot on. There's times where I'll run to the grocery store and I'll have pajama pants on and you know what? It was crazy. So I went to Buffalo a couple weeks back with Julia and with her dad and her brother, because they'd never been to an NFL game. And the Buffalo Bills fans, I mean, football fans will dress crazy, but they've got these pants that they wear that are kind of like these red, white, and blue zebra stripe style pants that look like pajama pants. Well, let's right off the bat, America. I mean, if you go to Walmart, it's the home of the pajama pants. Like, let's just wear something that's comfy. So it's not, dressing down is not
COVID casual.
But at the football game, they were selling these pants. And there was a part of me that was like, those look a lot like those pajama pants that I wear at home, that they're kind of like polyester, but they're stretchy, but they're like, they can stretch really big, but they come right back. And it's just this comfort level that, it's hard once you get into that, it's hard to get out of it. And I would say it took me a good year post-pandemic to get out of my jogging pants and to get into jeans again. So I totally feel you on the COVID casual. Is there a dépanneur? And if you're listening in the United States, you don't know what a dépanneur, or even outside of Quebec, a dépanneur is a convenience store or is a bodega or is a 7-Eleven, if you will. So, a lot of apartment buildings will have a convenience store in their lobby, and you don't really. It's like you just hope no one catches you in the elevator. But yeah, but I think you look great, and especially capping off that look is that Queen of the Damned sweatshirt. I mean, that is just so nice. Look at that thing.
It's very cool.
Is there anything on the back?
Yeah. I'm gonna try to show you.
Yeah, don't hurt yourself. Oh, nice. Full graphic on the back. Oh, I love that. Oh, something about you with with your hands up against the wall makes me. It just screams you're getting arrested.
Well, just more enticing for the people listening at home. We're going to use audio captions. Like a young Madonna displayed himself against a wall in an erotic pose that both said, "I'm dangerous" and "interesting."
Right. There you go.
Yeah, or none of that. But anyway, speaking of Cody Casual, if you yourself want to rock some sweatpants, I just got these Lost Boys sweatpants from Studio House Designs, and they are so cool. I'm going to be wearing them in the next episode, so stay tuned.
Nice. Ryan will be doing a handstand to display them for you. Yeah. This is one of the ones we talked about in I think our last episode. You were saying you were going to get this, so this is the kind of like the reverse stack. It's like so Cody's known for designing these stacks. They call them the VHS stacks, and he'll take one of the he'll take one subject when it comes to a film, whether it be an actor's career or a director, and he'll make a stack with VHS stacks. So this is the Nightmare on Elm Street stack, but it's like the reverse stack. So this is like if you bought that VHS box set, this is what it looked like. And I love this. And
yeah.
Pretty cool. So this is a shirt that will be arriving in Ryan's mailbox very soon.
Yeah, it's gonna be great. And now that we're dipping a little bit into the Halloween season, it's getting later in the fall. I gotta say, like looking at the stack rate on your shirt and thinking about Nightmare on Elm Street in chronological order,
yeah,
and how silly the movies would get later as each iteration would happen. It's almost kind of like the movie starts with a frown and forms a smile by the time it's over.
So good. Great analogy.
And they made a movie every year.
And a shout out to Heartbeat Hot Sauce, the heartbeat of the Rockman Power Hour. We really, really appreciate them helping us keep the lights on here. And man, I love me some Louisiana style Poirier's KO edition. Check it out. Pull this one right from the fridge. Ryan, this one is hot. This is very, very hot. If you're looking for a hot sauce that has a bite to it, this is the one. Poirier's Louisiana style KO edition. Love this. Dustin Poirier, UFC legend, and this is his hot sauce. This is made by the good friends over at Heartbeat, and this has got ghost pepper in it. That's why it's so hot.
Yeah, because we all know ghosts are hot.
Yes, they are. And it'll literally rip you apart.
Oh, you're trying to do one of those segue things they do on the television.
All right, forget about segues. Let's just go right into it. Ripper Owens is somebody that you will know if you are a fan of heavy metal. This guy has a very unique story. It's one that's been told many, many times, but it's one that's worth telling over and over again because it's very unique. Of course, Ripper Owens, so popular that there was a movie that was made about his life. And unfortunately, it didn't get all the details absolutely correct, but got to give it an A for effort. And that movie is Rockstar. We talk about it at length in this interview. Ryan, Ripper Owens, there's so many things that can be said about him, but I think the thing that needs to be said more is that he's an incredible singer. And to step into the huge, massive shoes of Rob Halford, and at a time where heavy metal was on the downswing, but went in there and just absolutely killed it. And it's still talked about to this day, even with diehard fans. Listen, I am a Judas Priest fan and I am a Halford fan. Okay. But I have to tip my hat and I have to respect the years that Ripper Owens was fronting Judas Priest because he did a great job. And it was just a real treat to be able to talk to him today. I know you were excited about this and I don't want to keep anybody waiting anymore. Let's just go right into it. Our chat with Ripper Owens right here on the Rockman Power Hour. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, man. Thank you for agreeing to do this. Ryan's in transit, so he just jumped on because I wanted him on this. So he doesn't have his microphone, but we'll be all right.
Yeah, well, okay. I got microphones ish, but Tim, I want to show you my metal face, but there's a heat wave in Montreal, so I'm going to show you my melting face.
Yeah. Hey, you sound good. Your mic's working better than mine.
So you're from Akron.
Yes.
Which is crazy because I have history with Akron. because I'm in recovery.
Oh, there you go.
So
yeah, fantastic. Yes.
So I made a pilgrimage to Akron. I've been sober 31 years, and I made a pilgrimage to Akron in 1992 in my first year of sobriety. And I remember going to Dr. Bob's house and all the haunts, which was great. And then when I started touring, every time we would play Cleveland, I would make the bus go to Akron to make sure I went and paid my respects to Dr. Bob's.
It's funny when David Ellison, I was doing a solo tour, and I had everybody in the band stayed at my house, which was Simon Wright and Chris Caffrey and David Ellison. And David went to check it out. He went to a meeting there and went to check it out, because I think he had to, because Simon Wright drank enough beer for like a whole band. So I think David was like, yeah, I think I might want to go check this place out. Yeah, David went there, and I've done several. I just did another interview, and the person said to me, and I think it was from South America, said, hey, that's where AA started.
Yeah, and that's what I'm sure a lot of people will just see that in casual research, because some people will be thorough. But for me, I really had skin in the game by going. I know there's a lot more to do with Akron than tires. So it's really cool to find out that you were from Akron. And so the other thing too is, you are from, a place where, Cleveland is so synonymous with rock and roll. So many incredible, live shows were recorded in Cleveland. Just Spinal Tap saying, hello, Cleveland. Like, it's always had this, Ohio's always had this special place with rock and roll. Did you kind of feel that growing up?
I kind of did, there was a point where, we had Devo and we had Chrissy Hine, the Pretenders, and that was early on. I was like, hey, they're from Akron, but yeah, it always seemed like it, with the Cleveland Agora and the Akron Agora. It was always a good music scene, and WMMS, was a great radio station when I was young. So yeah, I always felt it, I think I felt more of the rubber than I did.
And the rock and roll.
Rubber's not really there anymore. It's funny because I just talked about that in the last interview. Somebody said that they, I don't know how he brought up. Oh, he worked at Goodyear. He was from Spain, but he worked for Goodyear. And he said, so I know about Akron, but we're not really the rubber capital anymore. There's not much going on with rubber there, but there's still some rock and roll going on there with the Black Keys and everybody else. So we still got it.
Definitely. And, we're talking about rubber and we're talking about alcoholism. But the reality is that we're also talking to a guy that can sing his motherfucking ass off. And what I've always liked about you is you're that guy who, everyone kind of has always cheered for. Do you know what I mean? You're the guy that's come into some situations that have been, obviously there's the one everybody knows about. You getting into priest, but you've always been able to find a situation that fit for you. And you've always shone or shined in that situation. Like, you've always shined in those situations.
Well, yeah, I've always been a guy that loved to hate too. So that's kind of, yeah, it's all right. I take that, and that's why I like to try and shine and do good, because I love to get the haters mad.
Yeah. And you come from a time where haters didn't have the platforms that they have now. Can you imagine if you would have made that jump when, social media existed the way it is now? You would have been dealing with avalanches of hate and encouragement, like both sides of it,
Yeah, it's really crazy, the difference of how everybody's a critic now. I've always said this, like, if you don't like me, that's great. I don't like a lot of people, but I would never run to social media and post underneath that person's page and go, I hate you. Your album sucks.
Right.
That's a terrible band. Mm. Now they just people just love. I think that's all they love to do. When I grew up, you got the magazine, you read about the band, and you heard their song on the radio. That was about it.
Even when I was growing up in the late 80s, early 90s, rock stars just seemed like these unattainable mythical beings that came to us through radio signals, and they were larger than life in the magazines and stuff. But I think little moments of your story, being able to be a fan that gets to be in a band, like that happened with you, the Misfits, a little bit of AC/DC. It's like, all of a sudden, like, someone could ascend to that level. I'm sure that when Judas Priest were known as the metal gods when you were growing up, obviously it's like, oh wow, it's great to be in a band, but at the same time, it's like all these years later, I think all those people, that used to make a big deal out of it can finally fuck off and just appreciate the entire legacy of Judas Priest and how good those albums were on.
I agree. I mean, I was lucky. I came from the time where they had to get a videotape, and I tell people can make it. That's why I tell anybody who's in a band with me now, or we're touring, or I'm like, your job is to go on stage and blow people away every time, because our shows are being put on YouTube while I'm still on stage.
Yeah.
They're being broadcast. But yeah, I mean, I think a lot of the people that hated me back then, if they came to the concerts, they ended up liking me. I think that was the difference. Mm-hmm. Now people just hate people on social media. But a lot of the people, unless they didn't give me a chance, and I get it, you loved Rob, you loved Priest, you didn't want change. I know people don't want change, and but most of the people who came out, KK used to always say, the proof is in the pudding. Come out and watch Ripper, and then they did. But nowadays people don't even give it a chance. They just hate. They don't even go, oh, that record's pretty good. They'll just go, yeah, I don't like the band name, so the record sucks. And it's like, I mean, that makes no sense. But yeah, it was a different era. Like you said, you were 80s, 90s, and totally different. I mean, it was, nowadays people they could just get discovered on YouTube. So do your job, be good. Hey, even you guys doing what you do, this is, it's so different than, I had to do promos, right? We would do promos in a hotel room for a week straight, people shuffling in and out in some country, I'm on a vacation in Australia, sitting at my girlfriend's house doing interviews all day, so it's
it's a lot nicer than having to show up at a junket and sitting in a hotel room for.
But you guys want to be on the top of your game now, because it's going to be seen by people all over the world, and you want it to be good. You want to be there's going to be a lot of, I can't wait to see the people that hate you guys so I can read that too. So
hey, listen, I've been, being someone who was in who was in a band for years, who's done radio for 14 years, just got let go actually from a big radio company. I know what it's like to be on the receiving end of that. But, I think what's great about you is that you've always been able to prove people wrong through your skills. You talk about people that have had to step into situations where they weren't the original guy. I remember, some of my favorite, Anthrax stuff was the stuff they did with John Bush. I mean, they were great. So there's no doubt that you definitely are an accomplished vocalist. I wanted to ask you one thing in particular, because when I was looking through, I didn't realize that you had played with Roy Mayorga. In a project. And I know Roy from the Soulfly days. I mean, just an incredible drummer. What was it like to play with Roy? Because Roy's the kind of guy, I know from spending some time with him when I was in LA, extremely positive guy, great drummer. But I would imagine you guys together probably had a bit of a good time, because not only is he a great drummer, but he's also a really good human.
Yeah, he's a great guy. We had a great time. I first met him, I did the Roadrunner United concert. Yep. And I did, was it Abigail from King Diamond and a couple other songs, Annihilator song. And Roy played, and that's when he got taken by Corey.
By Corey for for Stone Sour. Yeah.
Corey Washington said, you are coming with me, young man. Because he was so good.
Yeah.
And then he jammed with us with a band called Hail, which had Andreas Kisser and and he's just he's so good. When I watched him play at that Roadrunner United concert, I was like, man, this guy is special right here, because he is and that's the thing. I'm probably one of the easiest guys to get along with, as long as you're not, doing stupid things on tour or drinking too much or anything. I'm really easy to get along with. And in life in general, I come from Akron. I got my kids and, pretty normal guy. And he's like that as well. There's so many people like that. And Roy's like that. So you hit him right on the head. Not only is he a great player and we had a blast, he's a good guy,
Yeah.
So
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
definitely.
Of course, we've established, you're a great singer, but also at the same time, you seem to be a very cool owner of a bar. I saw the show called Bar Rescue a million years ago, and I saw this episode that your bar was featured on. And I always wanted to know, I'm like, was things not going right into your bar, or was it like just great publicity to have, a show like Bar Rescue feature it?
It was all fake.
I thought so. Yeah.
From head to toe. We sold that bar probably about 3 years after that because I just had to get back on the road. But it was a great restaurant, great food, great bands. But they called us and said, "Hey, we're going to be in Youngstown. Would you be interested in doing it?" My partner's like, "We really don't need them." And then we thought, it doesn't cost anything. You get some publicity, you get a free makeover, and they did a great makeover, but it's all fake. We did takes over and over again. Walk into the room and they'd say, "Walk in, look right, and look disgusted." And then I would do it, and they go, "No, do it again, but do it this way and this way." So it was kind of funny that John Taffer was really nice to me the first time I met him. In that car was the first time I met him.
Okay.
And he was talking to me about music, and he used to run the Troubadour, and he was a drummer, and blah blah blah, and he was talking about me, and then it would say action, and he'd be like, "Whoa, yeah, whoa," be like yelling at everybody. He was great to me though, but the show was all fake. But they kept our place pretty much the same, made it still rock and rolling. But yeah, it was fake. It was funny. One day we just get a call. "You want to do bar rescue?" We're like, "Yeah, okay."
Yeah, reality TV, right?
It is so fake. There was a scene where my partner had money and he went like this or something, and then he flips me off. But that wasn't how it went. They'd had him throw the money up, and then they were leaving the office, and they said, "Hey, do me a favor, Micah, just flip off the camera." Just out of, and I said, after they left, I said, because I have friends who did reality shows, Scott Ian and Sebastian and all those guys. And they told me how Scott Ian said how fake it was, how bad they made Sebastian look, and it really wasn't as bad as it was. But, I mean, it's pretty easy to make him look bad, but it was pretty, it was totally fake. And he said, I said when he flipped me off, I said, "You just flipped me off. They're going to make it look like I was standing there and you flipped me off." And so, but it was cool to do it. I mean, it was, it's just funny that it was so fake.
Sorry, Jason, I've been waiting my whole life to ask him this. Just speaking of drama and fake drama and all that. So I like the movie Rockstar, but I know that that's pretty much your life story, and they changed enough of it to not give you or Priest any credit. And under the guise that maybe reality wasn't interesting enough, like, it just seems like in reality shows or films, we're always we're bullshitting everything just to make like life more faster, funnier, more dramatic, whatever. Cause you seem like such an easygoing guy. I couldn't imagine them making 2 hours of trouble based on you. You know what I mean?
But you don't have to make this. The real story would have been better. I mean, look at movies like Almost Famous. They didn't add him, having a line of people having sex out. Well, maybe they did, and the Batmobile and all this stuff. I think the big problem with that was because my mom was diagnosed with MS. Metal wasn't good at that time. We weren't playing arenas. It was the mid 90s. I mean, we were lucky to play Bob's Big Bamboo or something like that, and I think the real story would have been better. I think the reason why it ended up changing was the band didn't like how they were being portrayed. They didn't like that one guy was kind of running the band, which was true. The old singer was gay, which was true. They didn't like that the band, they tried to make them look older, which they were older. But now that I look back, they were only in their upper 40s. I mean, I'm 56 now, so I guess that was. But they didn't want to be involved with it because they didn't like how the movie was going, and I understood. But I think it would have been a better movie if we would have been involved.
Sure.
But I still think you nailed it. They have to make it Spinal Tap like. That's basically what they did. They wanted to add humor and, I mean, make this fan like a crazed fan who made the band. Well, I was a fan in the 80s when I was in high school, like that. I was actually in a Seattle tribute band when I made Judas Priest. So that goes to show you that I had a kid. I don't know, it was just a lot different. I think the real movie would have been better, but they got to make it so off the cuff, And I think they made it more off the cuff when we pulled away because they went on the road with Pantera. So that's going to be a lot different stories than stories with me. I mean, that's rock and roll stories, sex, drugs, and rock and roll. Going backstage with Dimebag and Pantera at the time, there'd be people brewing in the restroom. There'll be, blacktooth grins all around and drinking and craziness. And you go back with us, and we're talking about where we're golfing the next day.
Well, there you go. I mean, listen, I was on Ozfest with Pantera in 2000 on Reinventing the Steel, and they just happened to be on the road, and Zach was there. Zach wasn't playing with Ozzy anymore, but he was on with Black Label Society. I mean, they were partying together every night, and I remember walking by one of those trailers that was backstage, and literally walking by, and a chair just came right through the window in front of my patch, like. Psh! And all I just heard was "fuck yeah!" And I was just, here I am, this little Canadian guy. I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? So yeah. The Pantera backstage was a whole other ball game. I've been backstage for Priest, and you're right, very calm, different thing. And so it's funny how Hollywood will take things and push them to excess. And when they did the Dirt movie, on Motley Crue. Yeah. A lot of that, from what I heard, there was a lot of exaggerations, but I think at one point you kind of have to push, you got to kind of put 8 pounds of shit in a 6-pound bag to make people interested for 2 hours. So I kind of get that.
I think, but a lot of the movies that are, I get it, maybe for a Netflix movie, but this could have been better as a normal thing. I mean, listen, everybody's penis talks. I get it, and that's Dirt, and mine doesn't talk back. I think it's deaf, but I talk to it every night. But I can see that a little more with Motley Crue, to be honest, because the story they're making. I mean, look at Motley Crue. I mean, that's a sex, drugs, rock and roll craziness kind of story. But the Rockstar movie was different. I think it could have just been handled. It could have been made a lot different. I remember when we said no, we're not involved anymore. We were going to have music involved.
Yeah.
I got the story from a New York Times article and the rights to my story. But then once we pulled away, they just went out with other people and added and made their own thing.
And you can see the way it's been kind of like the way it's kind of remembered in history, not too fondly. It's not like it's found its base again. It's not like it's found a cult following. It just kind of hasn't done anything. And I think it's because of that. I think it's because a lot of people know the authenticity. They know what the base of the story is, but they also know that there's a lot of people that weren't happy with it. Do you know what I mean?
People get mad at me when I say I didn't care for it that much. And it came out at 9/11 was a big thing why it left so fast. It did fairly well the first couple of days.
Right now, we interrupt your regular schedule of programming because we had a Zoom error and had to start the interview about 20 seconds afterwards. The topic was changed, and we're getting into the music that Tim Ripper Owens really likes.
Let's go for it right now on the Rockman Power Hour. There we go.
I love me some Beatles and David Bowie.
Yeah. I used to, when I was younger, I subscribed to this bullshit where I wasn't allowed to like rap music because I liked punk and metal. It was so fucking, that shit was even happening in the late 90s. I can't imagine what it was like in the fucking 80s and shit.
It was pretty good with the rap in the 80s because we had Run DMC.
Yeah.
Who, King of Rock and gang, 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 gang. They had like heavy. So rap was more tolerable and to me better because it didn't attack people. It just talked about life kind of stuff, but it was great, man. Sugar Hill. I remember getting the Sugar Hill Gang Rapper's Delight in the late 70s, having the big 10-inch single. And don't make me bust out in Rapper's Delight. I mean, it's just,
I wouldn't say no. Ryan and I have, DMC is a friend of ours, and we've done quite a few collaborations with Daryl, and he's just.
Man, I love Run DMC. Man, oh man,
yeah.
I'm wearing my Adidas right now. Yeah. That it was just a great time. It was funny because the 80s were a great time for just music to me. I mean, it's not my favorite era. My favorite era is 50s, 60s, and 70s. But I love that era of music. But 80s, like you said, punk. You would listen to the, Dayglow Abortions or whatever I was listening to at the time, Dead Kennedys or something. And then you would listen to Lizzie Borden, and then you'd listen to Run DMC. And it was just like, I don't know, such a great time of music with all that, Then all of it, a lot of it got watered down more. And, all of it became more mainstream. That's what happened. All of it became kind of more mainstream or something. I don't know, but yeah, it was a great time. All those, man, oh man.
So tell me a bit about what's going on with KK's Priest and some of the work around that and what you've been doing recently.
Yeah, it's great. The second record, and comes out the end of September, and it's doing great. It's fantastic. I mean, the reviews have been great. It's a great record, and we finally played shows, and they've been out of this world. I mean, these festivals we played, and we're only going to go out if we can take out the pyro and the full stage, and that's hard when you're a new band. I mean, obviously KK is KK Downing, so it's not new, and then it's KK myself, so it's a pretty good pedigree, but it's still a new thing. But the festivals we played, the people singing at the shows, our songs, One More Shot at Glory singing, but it's really good, and I think I'm really happy. I'm really happy with the record itself. I think it's a really good quality sounding and great songs. I think it's really great. So this is, it's doing really well. So hopefully we can get out there and tour some more.
And you're having a good time with it, which is what matters. And it must be fun to be with your buddy as well.
It is, and the bandmates are great, all friends, and my drummer from Three Tremors and Sean, I got in there, but yeah, looking at Ken. First of all, he's going to be 72 next month, and I just can't fathom it because he's way younger and more energetic than I am. And as we rehearse, I tell this story all the time. When we're rehearsing, I look across and he's just standing there and the whole time, the whole day, and just talking and doing it. And I'm like over on a chair taking a nap, and I'm the one who goes to the gym every day, and I'm in the best health of my life. But it's amazing. This guy is and his writing is so good right now. It's unbelievable. I just look at him and go, he's 72. This guy's never going to quit.
Yeah. Yeah. It's great when you see, there's something about the older rock star where I don't know if it was something in the water, but especially a lot of the British guys. I don't know if it's from hard upbringing or just like, being in an era where you kind of had to be tough, but they've aged in a way that they've seen shit, but man, they can endure, and they've got endurance.
Well, there's also something else combined with that. It's also the ones who a lot of them eventually took care of themselves at some point. Drugs and alcohol wasn't with them until they were 60 something, or they're still not doing it.
Yeah.
I mean, Ken he drinks beer after the show. He'll have some beers, or maybe after rehearsal when he gets home, he might have one. But, he's always had, kind of like me. I'm not a big drinker. I have a beer. That might be about it for me. I've never been a big drinker. But Ken is like it. But I think that's always listen, people might have Paul McCartney, Ringo Starr, look at those guys. I mean, all those old videos, they're smoking up a chimney and drugs and stuff, but they stopped pretty early on, probably.
You're right.
They stopped early on. So I think that's the key to it. But yeah, I love looking at some of these old rockers and go, oh man, look at that,
Yeah, it is a nice thing to see. And always looking to the future. Is there anyone that you're listening to now, any bands that are on the horizon that you've seen play that have just made you go, wow? I mean, there's a future for rock and roll.
Really? I don't think they're out there. My nephews listen to them all. I'm like, I've never even heard of that band. And I look and they got like 100 million views on their YouTube channel. I'm like, I've never even heard of them. They're out there and I know it, but I'm just, music wise, I'll listen to maybe the local radio station when I'm driving, or sports talk, but I listen to a lot of, like I said, David Bowie, Beatles, Dio, Sabbath, Benediction, whatever, James Taylor, I don't know, whatever's on my whatever's playing, but Testaments, Anthrax. So I still kind of stuck with, I could listen to Dio all day long with Rainbow and Sabbath. Dio. I mean, I could put his career on and just fade away, just go off into my own world, but yeah, I just don't listen to a lot, and I get stuck in my ways, but I'm also always trying to study. I mean, lately I've just studied these songs to try to get ready for touring, so it's like, I did so much for this one is that we recorded the whole set list because it was a new thing to get ready. They recorded the whole set list to a click track because the click track had to go with the light show and the pyro. I went in and recorded all the vocals to the whole set like it was a live concert, and that's what I study. So I sit at home and I study this live version. But we even put fake crowd noise in there, and everything. Well, Ken did. Ken made this, and it's pretty cool that him and the guitar player spent all this time to make this. So I sat at the gym listening to that over and over again. And it's like, man, oh man, forever. But I need to. When I had my restaurant, I got to see more younger bands come through.
Right.
I like a lot of the stoner rock bands that would come through. I really dug it. I've always dug guitars like that. My band Beyond Fear, that was more of the songwriting I did. Sabbathy, Soundgarden. I always loved the kind of guitars like that.
Yeah, like everything that came out of Palm Desert and all the like the Caius and John Garcia. I mean, he's a singer that everything John Garcia from Caius does. Every project he's done since has been great. But one person to put on your radar, we had Wolfgang Van Halen on a couple weeks ago, and Wolfie's record, the new Mammoth project. It's a pretty great record, and the guy plays everything on there himself.
Yes, that's what's pretty awesome.
It's amazing.
I should put that in my playlist.
Yeah,
I don't know why I haven't, because he's such a great singer
great singer, great guitar player. We saw him.
I don't listen to something that's just a great singer because I'll listen in. I mean, I do prefer singers that can sing.
Yeah.
Especially live. I love singers that can sing live.
Yeah.
And he brings it. When I've watched him sing live on some stuff, and I had a buddy of mine that posted something and said, "Man, he can sing," and he was a singer friend of mine. And I watched it, and this was live, and I was like, "Man, I love it. I love it."
Sing.
Yeah, you know what? I'll put that into my.
He can play guitar like a motherfucker.
We know that.
Yeah,
we know.
It's just when he told us we're go ahead. Sorry.
I can't say we knew that, because I really found that out when you watched him do that tribute to his dad thing and he was playing those songs. That's when you go, oh shit.
Yeah.
Even though I knew he recorded all the instruments, but to do things live is still, how many bands do we know that makes these recordings and then can never bring it live? They can't sing it live or play it live.
Yeah.
Or bands that kind of just use their recordings live, unfortunately, and nilly vanilly the audience to death.
And it's not just the old fuddy-duddies who can't sing anymore. It's these young bands that come up there or younger bands, Why would a 30-year-old need to have his lead vocals and a recording behind him?
That makes no sense. I agree with you.
I get some of the background choirs or the sound effects
to fatten things up. Yeah.
Yeah, I get all that stuff, but main vocals, your main singer, or a guitar solo, I guess, but a main vocal, yeah. And if you're 30 years old, I mean, Don Dokken and we have all those singers that do that, and you go, but at least they're old, and Vince Neil, never known for his singing anyways, but
no.
And here's also what I say: if you're going to lip sync,
do it
at least lip good.
Yeah, don't put, and here's another thing that got me. And I won't keep you much longer. We'll leave you with this, but you talk about passion, and you've been involved with a lot of projects where it seems like you're having fun, and you're there for the right reasons. You're there for the music. I just watched a clip of Joey Belladonna's Journey tribute.
Journey. Yeah.
And I couldn't believe, here's Joey Belladonna, been in Anthrax forever, has nothing to prove, and decides, hey, Charlie's going out. He's with Pantera. The other guys are busy. I'm going to fucking do a Journey tribute band. And I heard him doing it. And it's like, how fucking cool is that? And he's killing it,
for a long time. And listen, I've always said this. This is why I loved Anthrax then, because there was a thrash band that had the singer. I mean, it sounded like Steve Perry singing in Anthrax. Right? I mean, that's his favorite singer. And I think it's great. He's I love Anthrax, both John Bush and even Neil. I love them all. Yeah, he loves singing and he's so good at it, so why not? But I'm going to tell you one thing. This is why I think the singers who lip sync, after we watch them lip sync and they lip sync so bad, they can't even lip sync. I think they can't sing for the same reason. I think they're lazy.
Yeah.
Because if you're lazy and you can't even lip sync, maybe that's why you probably weren't singing that good in the first place. Maybe you were just too lazy to worry about singing. So now you're lip syncing and you're holding the mic out in the crowd when your vocals are going on. And
Yeah, that's a weird one, and you see it, or if you see someone drop a mic or they fall on stage and the vocals are still going, it's just embarrassing. But
oh yeah, that one lady did it, the rap lady or whatever. She threw that mic at the person.
Yeah. I saw that. They threw, yeah,
and her singing still going on.
Cardi B, yeah.
We call that projection.
Yeah. Well, one thing you can tell, for sure out of the gate, and I can guarantee is that when you go see you play, you're not lip syncing, you're singing great. Looking forward to hopefully getting to see you live soon. And I really, really appreciate you taking the time to chat today.
Thank you. And remember, guys, when I do lip sync, I'll be good at it.
Thanks so much, man. You're the best. And thanks for your patience with our little, and have fun in Australia, man.
I'm great. I'm getting ready to go. I'm in the mountains right now. I'm going to go down into the city and have a couple of days of looking around and having some fun, and my girlfriend and I, and so it's good. It's nice. As I'm here, I'm sitting in the mountains doing interviews, so it's okay.
Life is good, man.
You guys have my email now, so stay in touch. Email me whenever.
100%, man.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, give me a shout whenever.
Yeah, and we'll let Jamie know once we put it up. We'll send you it. So if you guys want to share it and stuff, and I hopefully we get to see. I don't know if there's any chance of a Canadian date coming up or anywhere in the vicinity, but we'd love to see you.
We're decently reachable in the States. Yeah,
I have no criminal record. I'm allowed there, so I'm fine.
All right, man. Enjoy your vacation, and thanks for taking the time.
All right, you got it. We'll see you.
Thank you.
Thanks, man.
Bye.
I'd like to dedicate this entire episode to my friend Jared, who one time we were like driving around, we're trying to find something to do, and we were like, hey, why don't we just stop everything and go watch Rockstar instead? Like at my house. And we did, and it was amazing. And he was telling me that Tim Ripper Owens, it's like, yeah, this is just based on the Judas Priest guy. And I'm like, no, it's not. Fucking Mark, this is based on the guy from the Funky Bunch. Like, come on. Anyway, no, but seriously, he was mentioning that Tim Ripper Owens sang in Iced Earth and all this other shit. Jared is the one who told me about the show Bar Rescue. He literally was also the one. Like Jared is the Kevin Bacon of my knowledge of all things Tim Ripper Owens. So thank you very much, Jared, for being you and as usual, teaching me a little something. And I love this chat. And first of all, thank you for including me in this, Jason. This is the Rockman Power Hour. Yeah. And I have benefited from being Robin to your Batman many times, and talking to Tim Ripper Owens was fucking awesome. Yeah. So yeah.
Well, much more of that coming this fall for sure. We got a lot of stuff, a lot of little surprises up our sleeve. We got some great guests lined up for you, and we want to just thank you so much for being a part of our journey and a part of this podcast. We can't do this without you, so we appreciate all the great feedback, all the shares, all the likes, all the comments, and please comment below who you want to hear on the podcast if you are watching on YouTube, or just send us a message. You can find us easily on social media, on Instagram and on Facebook. And man, this is a blast, and we're having a great time. So a big thanks to you. Thanks to Studio House Designs for always making us look fresh. Thanks to our friends over at Heartbeat Hot Sauce. Use our promo code ROCKMAN20 right below there. That'll get you 20% off your entire order, and you can use it over and over again. It does not expire. So make sure you use ROCKMAN20 to get 20% off your entire order of Heartbeat Hot Sauce. And if you haven't tried it yet and you're a hot sauce fan, what are you waiting for? Big thanks to my co-host Ryan Stick, and a big thanks to our producer Julia Kajerski. And until next time, we will see you on the Rockman Power Hour. Hey, thanks so much for supporting the Rockman Power Hour. We're almost 2 years strong, and we absolutely couldn't do this without your support. So make sure you click on one of these links to find our entire playlist of episodes. And if you haven't subscribed yet, right over there, hit it, and you won't miss anything.